Saudi Arabia's planned megacity at a cost of some $500 billion is a key part of the kingdom's Vision 2030 plan.
For Saudi Arabia, the biggest oil exporter in the world, the drop in oil revenues has left a big hole in its budget.
It's a fact that Saudi Arabia is gradually running out of money. I mean, they'll be the first to acknowledge that the sovereign wealth fund has been reduced. It's somewhere below $500 billion.
The $500 billion project is part of efforts to free the kingdom from its dependence on oil.
The line in Saudi Arabia has already begun construction, according to drone footages. Numerous people have voiced their opinion about the project in recent months, with the majority stating that it is too large to construct and more closely resembles something from a science fiction film. But now that construction has actually begun, how will this turn out? Could this be the beginning of the world's greatest mega project ever? Or will the line become a $1 trillion construction mistake that will eventually be abandoned? Let's find out. The line's precise design was presented in July 2022 by Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. In order to span 170 kilometers into the desert, he suggested building two parallel 500-meter tall buildings composed of reflecting glasses. Two lines of 2,000. One World Trade Center, each would be what this would amount to. Not only is the line the longest proposed megaproject, it is also the largest. A new style of life has emerged. All of your needs would be met within a 5-minute walk, and there wouldn't be any cars allowed inside the city. Additionally, any water consumed will come from a carbon-free desalination plant. All of the energy will be provided from wind and solar farms. This would all contribute to the line being a zero-carbon city. Shock, astonishment, and distrust all accompanied the proposal. Millions of people watched the trailer on YouTube and other websites, but there was scarcely any information available about what was actually occurring on the building site. This led to the widespread assumption that the line was only a publicity gimmick. 3 months following Mohammed bin Salman's introduction, however, events took an unexpected turn. Building started. The building scene was captured by a drone on October 19, 2022, according to OT Sky. The excavation work that will serve as the line's foundation is depicted in the video by docent operating excavators. The excavation already extended quite a distance inland, based on the drone's imagery. They might be near to the mountains in the background, however, it's difficult to estimate how far it goes exactly. The line begins in this bay and passes through these mountains, according to the neom website's official map. The footage was probably shot here because of the topography and the fact that the sea is visible in the distance. Therefore, the length of the excavations may already reach 10 to 20 kilometers. Additionally, the project's surrounding infrastructure is being expanded. There are several developments that can be seen on Google Maps. The neom community has a football field and swimming pools, as well as a neom experience center, and there is an entire site with workplaces and campgrounds beside the mountains. There definitely are a lot more by now, but these pictures aren't the most recent. What could possibly happen now that actual construction has begun? In the entire globe, there's nothing like this. What will therefore happen next is entirely a matter of conjecture. We may, however, generalize that there are only 3 alternative outcomes. The first scenario is that the line will never see any residents move in and that development will cease in a few months or even years. It can end up being a construction project whose status is still unknown, like the Jeddah Tower or the Dubai Creek Tower. Beautiful renderings and lofty claims were made in both instances. The beginning of the construction gave hope that the structure would be completed as planned, but after then everything stopped and there has been no more advancement. Nevertheless, given that the line has the support of an entire nation and has drawn much global attention, this seems to be a less likely end for it. A great chance to attract more visitors and investors to Saudi Arabia might exist if the project were to even get close to completion. The second scenario is that Saudi Arabia invests extensively in its current plans and really fulfills the promises made in its trailer throughout the following decades. Certain characteristics, such as eliminating automobiles generating all of one's energy from renewable sources and adopting the concept of vertically living, may undoubtedly be put onto practice. However, the project merely appears insurmountable given its enormous size. The One World Trade Center, which took roughly 8 years to complete, and the line were intended to be comparable in height, as we previously said. Even if it is still a decent amount of time, Saudi Arabia plans to erect a building that is equivalent in height but 170 kilometers long. Basically, 2001 World Trade Centers would be constructed in a continuous track. In fact, building 4,000 of them would be equivalent to building 2 of them, which is what the project calls for. The result would be 32,000 years if we just multiplied each year by 8. However, it does a good job of illustrating the enormity. Of course, Saudi Arabia would build them far more quickly because they could begin building on numerous parts at once. It would take hundreds of years to complete. For comparison, the Three Gorges Dam in China, which was built over the course of 17 years by over 40,000 employees, cost about $1 billion. It's small in comparison to the line, though, with only a height of 180 meters and a length of just 2.3 kilometers. But a third conclusion is also feasible. There might be a compromise because they've already begun the construction. We speculated at the outset as to whether this may be the most significant megaproject humanity has ever witnessed, or a building error costing $1 trillion. However, there may be yet another choice. It could be built in Saudi Arabia, but not to the absurd length they had in mind. Since each part of the line is designed to be a 5-minute stroll, the massive project could simply be developed in stages. They may easily lighten it as necessary depending on demand. The project would also be much more realistic and simpler to construct if the line's height could also be changed. The idea of vertical living stays the same at half of the height. Therefore, all of the features might still be used. The world's first contemporary car-free city may be created by the line, even if it is developed on a much smaller scale, and it may introduce a completely new way of life to the world. Many attempts are being taken all around the world to reduce the number of cars in the cities. These haven't, however, fully eliminated cars. Instead, they've only reduced car usage. It is excitingly challenging to change this because the car dominates the majority of big cities. They get to rehabilitate themselves with the line. It might be the first significant metropolis in the 21st century where there are no more car trips. There should be enough room to walk to all of the community essential amenities. In the event that this is not possible, longer trips through the entire line can be made using by proposed underground railway systems. The envisioned high-tech civilization may already be in existence when the first resident arrives in 2030, but on a considerably lower scale. What is the most likely of this outcome? What do professionals think of this crazy project? Few specialists will concur that the job can be completed in the allotted period, especially given how urgently it must be done. According to NEOM's chief Urban Planning Officer Anthony Vive, NEOM is a complicated, bold, and extremely ambitious enterprise, and is most certainly not an easy one to deliver. But we are making strong progresses, and it's wonderful to see the idea come to life. However, many professionals who are not affiliated with the initiative are raising other issues. According to Marshall Brown, a Princeton University professor of architecture, there would be so many physical and environmental phenomena that would have to be dealt with in order to attain the really basic and unique character that the representations propose. How do you feel now? Will the project be a success in some way now that the building has begun? Will there actually be residences there in the future? Or will this mega project go abandoned? Comment below and let us know. We appreciate you for your support and viewership, and look forward to seeing you in the upcoming videos. See ya!